And I'm going to tell you, Lane, thank you for letting me tune in. This is the Coronado Arte Harris Show. Owner of the Global Market, George Stakeholder. About 10 year, 15 year, 30 year couple. And you might not believe me, but I was able to shuck oysters with Lil Jon. You know, snap your fingers, do your step, you can do it all by yourself. Yes, Lane, I was at a very exquisite restaurant, and I was making a whole lot of money, Lane. And man, you know, Lil Jon and, you know, those guys and boys and stuff, they were like, Nardo's the goddamn man. That's what they used to say. And I'm gonna tell you why, Lane, because I used to go put my Longhorn up there, and I used to serve those tables. All those girls out there twerking. I used to go pull up and put my Longhorn at the table and take their gratuity from them. And then when I left Longhorn, I used to go to the barber and I used to cut all the hair I could cut. Then after that, I would go to the Little John's place and I shook the hell out of those oysters. I shook them just that good, ladies and gentlemen. Well, they said they needed me out there on the floor. You know, they needed me out there getting that money. And then I was able, after I won the Shucky Ducky Quack Quack contest, I was able to take in more money than Denise and Renee. They can't stand it. To this very day, they is very upset about how much money that I made. Like, I'm telling my baby, that shit was like grand theft, but it was legal, but it was like grand theft to them. They couldn't believe that this guy was making more money than probably everybody in there. You know, you probably can combine all their money, and I was making more than all of them. Because people was coming out from far and wide, and they were slapping their payroll on that table to see me come out there and put that Longhorn business on that table like I did at Longhorn, you know. And it made a lot of people very moist, and you know, they was humid and hot and stuff. And sometimes I used to go in there laying down. Sometimes the entire restaurant was waiting on me, from end to end, every table, and the other people just sitting up there standing up. You know what I mean? They was like, we waiting on Coronado and stuff like that. Sometimes every table be in there waiting on me. And I used to lay down. I used to go home and sleep on money. I ain't gonna lie, laying there. I was surprised nobody didn't take my money from me, laying there. Sometimes I used to go to bed, man. I didn't even lock the door, laying there. Man, when I tell you, I used to have Jabot's jeans. When I used to tell you, I used to have racks and racks and racks laying there. Every pocket laying there. I'm talking about stacks. I'm talking about, you not believe this laying there. And I believe this is what happened. That was the Crimson Tide saying that they were sorry, you know. That's what that was. For those years, they were trying to say that they were sorry. They hated that. They hated it went down like that. I don't know if it was the 4 and 14 season that they had, the most terrible season, or they probably just didn't party. You know what they probably said? We haven't had a real party in a long time since you know what I mean, been bored as hell. That's probably what they saying. So what they did, they traveled here all the time. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, instead of partying there, they was here in Montgomery. I tell you, lady, when I tell you I was surprised I didn't, you know, besides Fresh Anointing stealing that money from me to build that church, and then they moved when people find out that they probably stole some of the money. Then they gonna try to blame Leon for it when it was them, you know. Besides that, ladies and gentlemen, at that time I wasn't really burglarized. You know, I was surprised that I had to have a whole lot of bodyguards. I had plenty of bodyguards. I had to, ladies and gentlemen, to be going to the house with that kind of money, ladies and gentlemen. I put as much of it in the bank. I think I can only put $10,000 in the bank without them. You know what I'm saying? Because they would get, you know, they said, Nardo, don't put more than $10,000 in the bank because they'll start, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna start tripping. So the rest of it, I slept on it. You know what I mean? Slept on it, put it in different places. You know what I mean? Here some, there, and that like that. But I tell you, and then I can hear Tuscaloosa crying, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I wanted them to win against Tupperville, but they couldn't, ladies. Yeah. They just couldn't. Because right next door, Tupperville had a life-size poster. I'm talking about, it was just as tall as a human being. You know, when I had started a business down there, and the dude, it was a dude that had, he was like helping with the property and stuff. Man, that dude had a life-size poster of Tommy Tupperville, and he said, me and Tommy Tupperville are real good friends. I was like, man, that is impressive. That is impressive. And you know, the whole time I thought that Todd Strange was Tommy Tupperville. You know, I used to think they was the same individual. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, during those years, from 2008 probably to 2009, no, it was like this. It was from 1998 all the way to 2009. Auburn was goddamn, boy, they was doing the thing to Alabama. I ain't gonna lie to you, lady. Them be some years you just wish you could forget about. But they handle Alabama. I ain't gonna lie, lady. And they know why, lady. Everybody knows why. They know why, lady. They was trying to figure out how they was gonna coordinate that travesty, that tragedy. So I tell goddamn, you know, that was Tim just passed by. Tim wants recognition right now. But you know, one of my sayings used to tell me, man, that Tim is a devil, man. You know, I believe you. Like Tim, he a devil, man. You know, it ain't nobody about it. He a devil, you know. And then one time, one of my sayings said, got a beast, right? Put it on the chain. You know, just like a jinn. I don't know if y'all ever seen a real jinn that like fell out of the sky. You know, a lot of people say that they jinns, but they not. You know what I mean? But if you ever seen a jinn that fell out of the sky, you know what I mean? And you put him on the chain, he'll do everything. If you know what it takes to scare him and keep him in line, he'll do everything you tell him to do. You know what I'm saying? So this is what one of my sayings did. He got him and put him on the chain and put him on the backyard. When I tell you he wasn't nothing but a bully. And guess what? The only thing he would attack was kids, lady. And I'm talking about he was big as hell. He was a big ass beast, lady. I'm talking about he was a real big ass beast, a real 4-legged beast, right? But the only thing he would attack was little kids, like I swear to God, like it had to be a little kid. He'll go bonkers trying to mess that kid life up. But if he's seeing an adult, he'll sit up there and be nice as he could be, nice as hell, like no threat to an adult. But goddamn, a little kid, he's trying to rip the little kid to shreds. So that was Tim that just passed by in his Monte Carlo. Lady. I think he was passing by Morehouse that time. So let's bow our heads and pray for all the innocent students that have got killed at Morehouse in the last 2 days. Has nothing to do with Stephen Reed, lady. Has nothing to do with that. But please, let's bow our heads and pray for the innocent students. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to do your history, lady. Now, you know that Alabama, the University of Alabama and Tennessee, they don't really have no record of people getting shot at the university like that. You know what I mean? Not like they out there in the projects or something, or like they at the Rose Supper Club. You know what I mean? You just don't have no record of people doing drive-bys at a college, you know what I mean? You know, even though you Moors, you know what I mean? Even though you Moors and you might know something about the original man and the original God, you still have that ghetto behavior though, you know what I mean? It's just something about it. No matter how much you learn about the light, the more ghetto you get. You know what I mean? I don't know why. You say, just some things like some things you really just can't do nothing about, you know what I mean? Like I know that you're learning more and more about what you consider the truth and real mathematics, but it's not bringing you a Heisman Trophy, you know what I mean? It's not bringing you a national football championship. You know? And it's not stopping the violence, the brown on brown violence is not stopping that. You know? So you gotta ask yourself later. All those years of eating fruits and stuff and living in this nation, you know, and learning about invisible sculptures and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Has it done anything for your real character and the content? No, it hasn't, lady. They said that theft has increased lately. Now, you would not imagine how much theft has increased since people have been learning about democracy and fruits in the nation and organic food and, you know, Israel and stuff like that and Gaza. They just become more violent lately. So you gotta ask yourself, does knowledge make you dumber? You know what I mean? The more you learn, does it make you dumbish? You know what I mean? That's what you gotta ask yourself. You might be brownish, you might be mixedish, but does knowledge make you dumbish, ladies and gentlemen? Does it make you dumber and dumber? These are the things that people want to know. You see what I'm saying, Lena? Because you're always just like the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? Before any of you kids want to be leaders of your community or leaders of your state or stuff, before you want to do this, please watch the Matrix. And please watch Hannibal Lecter, because those are real stories, ladies and gentlemen. These are real stories. They might be acting it out some, but these things happen for real. And you know, the guy that came up with the Matrix, you know, he didn't come up with the theory behind it. He didn't come up with the Matrix law, but he came up with a way to illustrate it. Do you know that dude dismembered himself, ladies? Y'all don't know? Are y'all aware of that? That the dude that came up with a way to illustrate how the Matrix is, he cut his own limbs off, ladies. Cut his own limbs off, ladies. So you gotta, I don't know what he was smoking that night, but it couldn't been that strong. No, I don't think there's no dope that strong where you would mutilate and cut your own limbs off, ladies, and turn into Caitlyn Jenner, ladies, because that night, I don't know what color pill. It had to be the burgundy pill. He had to take the burgundy pill when he found out how far the rabbit goes down the rabbit hole. Yeah, you know. And now he's with Caitlyn Jenner now. You see what I'm saying? In French Montana, you know. That's one thing you never know about French Montana. You might be cute, you know. You might have curly hair. You know what I'm saying? But goddamn, Caitlyn Jenner knows all about you, you know? Knows things, unspeakable things, you know what I mean? Things that you don't want none of the gangsters to know about. Caitlyn knows about it, you know? Caitlyn knows your secrets. Just like Antonio Brown. Caitlyn knows all about you and Dominic, you know what I mean? Dominic on both sides, you know what I mean? Dominic, the best man at your wedding, and Dominic, your wife. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It does cause inflation and rise in prices, though. You know, when you think about it, like, man, that's nasty. But it did cause some inflation and a sudden rise. You know what I'm saying? And John Gruden. You know what I mean? It made people think about John Gruden. When you say, how the hell did this nigger marry his best man and they're a girl and then a boy, you know what I mean? And it caused your John to grow then, you know what I mean? Or John grew then, you know what I mean? It might have been a little John, you know what I mean? But it did grew then, you know what I'm saying? Your John did grew then, you know what I mean? And that's how they came up with the name John Gruden. Because your John did grow then when you thought about how freaky and nasty that is. You know what I'm saying? Going somewhere, taking advantage of back page girls, fine and thick and juicy. I'm trying to tell you, smelling like Issey Miyake. You jerk. How could you? And your John grew then. You know, when you was in church chastising those freaks sitting on the front row with nothing, no underarm up under that miniskirt. How could you? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to lead your family on the pathway to destruction, to the gates of hell. And they're fanning that monkey with their legs, fanning that monkey, you know what I'm saying? And your John grew then when you thought about it, when you was chastising those freaks. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, you might not be able to control when your John grew then, I tell you, but you can control if your best man is your wife, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the things you can control.